Hello, folks. Welcome to the Mentality of UX, and Happy New Year to everyone. And today I just wanted to talk about basically it's like this. I have a lot of friends who recently have been wondering what to do if they want to enter the IT or the STEM fields, want to change careers, and what should they do. And sometimes you will go through a rough patch of deciding, or maybe wondering if you have entered the right career path, as it were. So I'm going to go over today 3 fields which I think have a future in IT, and things that may start kind of withering away, not so much dying out, but with every job that was kind of a mass job, eventually technology will catch up to it, and it will eventually become more niche, and more of a thing that only needs maintenance or to be just perfected in some sectors. So what I want to do is maybe take an example, like a very traditional job, for example, farming. Almost everyone had to do it at one point in order to survive, and it's just as important today as it was, say, 200 or 500 years ago. However, now we have technology that maybe makes it easier, and may make it that there's not as much need for as much physical manpower as time ago, but you need maybe specialization in it in order to create the same or even more amount of food with less of a workforce. So today it's kind of the same. So every job that's once been mass has to be specified eventually. So maybe one of these jobs could be like front-end coding or front-end development. I think these are one of the jobs that are not going to disappear. But for example, if you look at such applications as Squarespace or any other applications that don't particularly need coding, but the frames for the front end of a website have been created, therefore you don't need to code it, and it's probably going to be even better than anything that someone can code freshly. So things like Squarespace, UXfolio eventually are going to probably take over most of the stuff that our usual front-end developer would have needed to do. That's not to say that maybe companies will need a front-end developer. I don't think that they will get rid of everyone, but maybe they just keep really perfectionists or really someone high in the food chain in order to make the existing application already better. I would say maybe the back end is a bit more complex as data like SQL, NoSQL will start growing. However, I think also there's going to be a bit of a more niche market that will come in. So what do I think is going to need more? What do you think is a future in? First off, I think that on cloud computing will definitely grow. For example, if you look at AWS, which I have studied for a while, I mean, there's virtually nothing that AWS cannot do that an online, that are on-site nodes would do better. It's cheaper because there's no particular maintenance that is taken care of by Amazon. So in many ways it's cheaper. It's also safer because you might think that it can be hacked. However, all of the Amazon Web Service nodes, which are huge by the way, are practically owned by Amazon and built by Amazon. So they don't rely on public infrastructure, much like other infrastructure that will need, for example, underwire cables which connect the internet. That specifically is built for Amazon Web Service. They literally build their own cables, so it's very hard to hack. So yeah, that. Also, when you would think about, just imagine one of those shipping containers. That is just one node, and they exist in what's called availability zone, which contains, like, say 25 or 26, but I think I'm not sure, as a long time since I studied that, but one availability zone with a node being just one of these shipping containers. Imagine a shipping container, there's one node. So a node, you would imagine maybe a node like a little laptop size thing, which is usually something that's on site. For Amazon Web Service, one node is a sizable shipping container, and one of these nodes can literally contain more information than the entire British Broadcasting Corporation has put out in the last 100 years. So you could imagine that one node containing this much memory and compute power, and then one of these nodes, one availability zone is about made up of 15 to I think 20 or 100. I know it's a big I know it's a big number and it's a big enter volume, but I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's at least 15. And then availability zones then, so nodes are in the availability zone, 15 to 20. And then these availability zones are in regions all across the world, San Francisco, Milan, Japan, and they're literally built on ships. So they can move them just in case something goes wrong. So bottom line is, online computing, and you can do anything that you can do with on-site computers, so on-site nodes. So basically you're renting the entire computer platform, not just the service but the entire platform. You're renting it, so you don't need to have anything on your in your office. You don't have to have storage space for nodes, because you can just hire Jeff Bezos to do that for you on Amazon. That's how Amazon makes money. It's not through their web applications or their commercial website. That's just maybe a fraction of how they make their money. Most of their money is made through cloud computing, and it's safe because it's built by them. Its memory is bigger than anything. As I said, one node, a shipping container can contain more memory than BBC can in 100 years, and there's hundreds and thousands of them. It's also and they also have it's also it's very durable because you can move it from one end. See, if someone predicts, say, a tsunami coming on the edge of Japan, then you can literally move this on the ship, move it somewhere else. So it's safe, reliable, and memory is full. The only thing, psychologically speaking, that may put a lot of people in using this is, for me, let's take a credit card. You know that there's money, or a debit card. You know that there's money on your debit card. However, I personally feel safer when I have cash in hand, and in fact, I feel safer when I know that I have physical assets such as gold or silver, which is actual money and has been money for 1,000 years and plus 2,000 years. So it's the same, for me, it's the same principle. If I'm a guy who needs compute, maybe, especially if I'm an old school guy, maybe I would feel safer knowing that I have physical nodes on my property as well as on AWS, or a mix of both. So I don't think totally all hardware is going to leave offices and just go on the cloud, because maybe some, psychologically speaking, and again, this is called the psychology of UX, but you can apply this to everything. Psychologically speaking, I would feel maybe safer if I know I have full control that something is beside me, even though you may have full control of AWS. However, you would need to hire a specialized architect or an engineer who will do this for you. So, but that being said, I do think that cloud computing is the future as well. So next is UX. I'm in this field personally, so I'm inclined to protect the fact that I have chosen a field that does have longevity in the future. Now, I'm saying that maybe it will go into a niche again, like haptics. Haptics being, for example, literally putting your hand in a glove and the computer, the touch screen, the user experience, and using virtual reality, VR. That's all based on user experience. User experience, UX, is not just about clicking on a computer, making the website aesthetic and having CTAs with the buttons and UI. It's not just that anymore. It's actually haptics. How is it going to feel when you virtually touch an item, maybe on a shelf in the future on a virtual commercial website, or maybe like Meta. Am I for these things? Am I for virtualizing everything? Not really. I quite like the real human connections, but these are going to be part of our lives eventually. And even such things as maybe going into a movie and smelling the movie. Like, say you're watching a movie and there's the person in the movie goes into a flower shop, and it would be literally a user experience to smell the same things that the movie is portraying. And haptics is the same, touching, feeling. How is that going to feel through touching something through a glove, virtual reality, and of course video games. These are all things that will still need human elements, because it's a machine right now cannot feel as we feel. It may be able to simulate or understand in a way, cognitively speaking, of what we want to feel, but still not human. So I think UX is gonna go into that as well. So yeah, these are, I think these are definitely the future. Also, so the next third thing would be, I think cybersecurity is going to be another one, as companies start reaching in and reaching into even more into AI, and people are gonna get smarter using AI. They're gonna use such things as ChatGPT to hack ChatGPT or to hack smart technologies, AI, because as more companies are going to use AI for maybe protecting their assets and their online softwares, at the same time, hackers are going to use the same AI to hack that AI. So I think also cybersecurity is going to grow. So I don't think anything per se is going to disappear off the market, like front end development. I just think it's going to get more niched and more specialized. The things that are going to be required in mass is probably, I think, is cloud computing. AWS is going to grow, even though at the end of 2022 there was a lot of layoffs in that, which kind of surprised me as well, as and is one of the things that had me not pursuing that as a career. Plus, I'm also more of a creative person. I like drawing, I like designing, I like color theory, I like understanding why people like a website, why not. That's more suited for me. But I was a bit surprised, to be honest, when cloud computing companies started laying off people, because as the future, as there's a lot of benefit. As I said, it's overall cheaper, overall safer, and if you hire someone to do it, transferring even non-SQL, you can turn it into SQL data. You can actually do that on Amazon Web Service. So there's a lot of benefit to it. The memory is endless, computing power is endless. It's cheaper than to buy, it's cheaper to maintain, and it's very safe also, because I told you about these nodes. These nodes, nobody touches them, so physically no one can hack them, because if something goes wrong in these shipping container nodes, what does AWS do? They literally shred it, and in the meantime they will put your data and put it onto another node, and you will never run out of data. So then it's UX, which again is going to get specialized. Again, I think there's still a lot of space for UX to grow in the old conventional way of just building an application on phones and products and platforms. But then we go into haptics, which is even more specialized and more interesting. So UX is going to go into that. Virtual reality, these are all experience, so people need to design that. And of course security, and of course AI. I don't have to mention artificial intelligence such as ChatGPT, and there's just a little aspect of that. And that's why I also think that front-end development is going to kind of weather out, because apart from the fact that there's really not anymore any data or any code that hasn't been written that you can't copy and paste and create another website with, and just maybe go into the code and suit it to your needs. There's nothing really anymore that needs to be written. So keep in mind that ever since the www has started, everything has been since coded front end, and that's over 30 years or more of coding, front-end coding, which has been put on a website or somewhere where you can find that, copy it, put it down. And now, as I said, you have things like Squarespace, UXfolio, who practically will build any front-end application for you without even needing to touch code. But again, I don't think it's going to disappear. So I think these are the things to look out for. So for me, it's cloud computing. It's not for everyone. It wasn't for me, but definitely something to look into. UX, if you have a more creative mind. Perhaps back-end development, so back-end coding for data, perhaps that. If you're going to be AI and cybersecurity, so these are the things to be looking into, I think, from 2024 onwards. And maybe unless you're already into the front-end development, other things such as that, you can specialize, or can always specialize. Nothing's over. So I don't think, as I said, finish on this point, I don't think anything's going to disappear. I just think things are going to get more specialized as mass jobs get more common. They will need specialization, and more jobs will jump up it. For example, again, I'll give you another quick example. For example, you used to get cashiers in a supermarket. Now you get those robots that you can check out yourself. But someone has to maintain those self-checkout machines as well. So then another job jumped off of that. And frankly, some people are not even happy with the self-service. They like the human interaction. So that's not even totally gone. A lot of businesses have reinstalled human checkouts, because people like a human connection, and again, that's going to lead on to why UX is important. So yeah, so overall, these are the things to look into, and things will get more specialized. I hope you guys are looking forward to a new and productive new year in 2024. And yeah, I wish everyone good luck in your career path or finding a job. Thank you very much.